What is up, football fans? Welcome to NFL Week 6 review on Tim Reynolds Show. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And guys, we're starting out with the Monday Night Football primetime matchup, where we see the Buffalo Bills taking on the New York Jets. And guys, we had a close one in this one as the Buffalo Bills were able to get the victory to move to 4-2 on the season as they win 23-20 over the New York Jets, who moved to 2-4 on the season. And even though Aaron Rodgers had himself a really good game in this one in the New York Jets offense, he went 294 yards passing with 2 touchdowns, but he had a late interception that really cost them, including 2 missed field goals for this offense inside the red zone. And even though Breece Hall had a really good day on the ground, rushing for 113 yards, that would not be enough as Josh Allen just balls out once again for this Bills offense, as he's responsible for all 3 touchdowns as he gets 215 yards passing off of 19 of 25 with 2 TDs through the air and 1 rushing on the day to lead the Buffalo Bills to victory on this Monday Night Football matchup. And then guys, the next game we're going over is the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to take on the New York Football Giants on Sunday Night Football. And man, we would see the Cincinnati Bengals eke out a win here, 17-7 over the Giants, after the defense would played very, very well for both teams. We see the Cincinnati Bengals really were struggling on offense. Joe Burrow only 208 yards passing for the game, but he had a big 47-yard TD run that actually helped get their touchdown and their scoring going early on in the first quarter. But man, a sloppy game from the New York Football Giants offense as Daniel Jones throws an interception once again, turning the ball over as the Giants offense wasn't really able to get anything going against the Cincinnati Bengals defense that's been struggling all year. But hey, the Burrow-led Bengals were able to get this one and eke out a victory as they moved to 2-4 on the season, and the Giants there with the loss moved to 2-4 themselves on the season. And then guys, moving to our Sunday slate, we're going to start out with my Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the New Orleans Saints. And guys, what a big NFC South matchup this was as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come out on top 51-27. And guys, this was a very weird game if you got to see it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers went up 17-0 in the first quarter, but then the New Orleans Saints had 27 points in the second quarter off of a bunch of weird plays and turnovers from the Buccaneers offense. But the Buccaneers were able to keep it going and really got this offense going really, really well as they set a franchise record with 594 yards total offense, and also they rushed for over 170 yards in the second half to able to get the victory, as we see Baker Mayfield throws for 325 yards in this one, responsible for 4 touchdowns through the air, even though he had 3 picks. And Sean Tucker, a breakout game for the third string running back, as he was able to get 14 carries for 136 yards and was also able to get a receiving TD along with his rushing TD in the game. And Chris Godwin, 11 catches for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns in this one. And for the Saints, not much to say, with rookie quarterback Spencer Rattler struggling really badly for this New Orleans Saints offense, who wasn't able to score any points at all. They were shut out completely in the second half by this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense as they moved to 2-4 in the season and will have a quick turnaround as the Saints head to Thursday Night Football against the Denver Broncos. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now move to 4-2 on the season as they'll get prepared for Monday Night Football coming up next week against the Baltimore Ravens, a big primetime matchup early on in the season. And then guys, we had another game over the pond there for the Jacksonville Jaguars in London taking on the Chicago Bears, and the Bears balled out in this one as they were able to get the victory 35-16, scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter to put this away. And even though stat-wise we see the Jaguars had themselves a decent day, Trevor Lawrence 234 yards passing and 2 TDs, but another interception, but Caleb Williams was able to outduel him as he had 226 yard passing but 4 TDs through the air to be able to lead the Chicago Bears to victory as they move now to 4-2 on the season, and what's proven to be one of the toughest divisions in football right now in the NFC North. Man, every single team in there has a winning record right now in that division, and poor Jacksonville, they moved to 1-5 on the season there, losing over in London. And then guys, going to our next game where we see the Arizona Cardinals traveling to take on the Green Bay Packers, and the Packers end up winning and dominating in this one 34-13 as they get the victory over the Arizona Cardinals to move in 4-2 on the season. Jordan Love had himself a day, 258 yards passing through the air, but 4 touchdowns to help lead this offense to victory, as the Arizona Cardinals offense, led by Kyler Murray, wasn't able to get anything going really stat-wise whatsoever in this matchup. Only 214 yards passing for Kyler Murray, as they end up losing, moving to 2-4 early on in the season for the Cardinals there, and the Packers get the victory. Moving on to our next matchup, where we see the Indianapolis Colts traveling to take on the Tennessee Titans, and the Colts were able to get the victory in this one, 20-17, as Joe Flacco gets the start again in this one and leads his team to victory after throwing 2 touchdowns, as they win 20-17 over the Tennessee Titans. And hey, what can you say about the Titans? Just struggling, especially with that defense been playing so good all year. They've only been able to win 1 game this season, and now some of their playmakers on the offensive side are coming out in the media, including wide receiver Calvin Ridley, who is very frustrated with the amount of targets that he's getting, especially early on in games. So guys, moving on to our next matchup, where we see the Houston Texans traveling to take on the New England Patriots, and another blowout in this one, as the Texans are able to win 41-21 over the New England Patriots. This was rookie Drake May's first start for the Patriots in this one, as he was able to go 20 for 33 for 243 yards and 3 touchdowns in this one, but he wasn't able to lead his team to victory, as the defense gave up 41 points for the Houston Texans offense that was really able to dominate, especially with the return of running back Joe Mixon, who had 102 yards on the ground and a rushing touchdown to go along to help that offense get the victory. And guys, moving on to our next matchup, where we see the Cleveland Browns taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, Houston Texans moved to 5-1 on the year, one of the best teams right now in the NFL and the AFC, and the Patriots 1-5. So the Browns come in here losing a bunch of games, not looking very well, and they would continue to look very, very sloppy on offense in this game. But the Philadelphia Eagles looked a little rusty coming off of their bye, as they were only able to score 20 points and had to get the lead late in the fourth quarter here to pull away, as they're able to get the victory 20-16 over the Cleveland Browns, who were only able to really get field goals and not touchdowns on their offense. But Jalen Hurts and this Philadelphia Eagles offense now back at full strength, with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith returning. Smith had a big 45-yard TD run late in the fourth quarter, and A.J. Brown finishes with 6 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown in his return to play. So the Eagles moved to 3-2 on the season, and man, poor Cleveland Browns as they moved to 1-5 early on this season. Tough for them. Moving to our next matchup, which was one of the big matchups here in week 6, where we see the Washington Commanders traveling to take on the Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens were able to get the victory in this one 30-23, as Derrick Henry has himself a day once again, as we see him rush for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns in this one. And Lamar Jackson 20 for 26 for 323 yards passing in this one for a touchdown, and Zay Flowers with 132 of those reception yards there on 9 catches, really helping this Baltimore offense look legit, and the defense really shutting down a Commanders offense that's been pretty good all season long, as they get the victory. And now the Ravens move to 4-2 on the season and are looking like one of the best teams right now in the NFL. And guys, moving to our next matchup, where we see the LA Chargers taking on the Denver Broncos in Denver. And man, we have a little bit of an upset here, as the Chargers were able to get the victory 23-16 over the Denver Broncos, who weren't able to play consistent enough, not only on defense but also on offense, to get the victory. And hey, the Chargers played hardball football, as they're able to get the victory, with J.K. Dobbins getting 96 yards rushing and a touchdown in this one, and Justin Herbert doing his thing for the Chargers, as they moved to 3-2 on the season. And now the Denver Broncos moved to 3-3 after this loss, and now they'll have to get a quick turnaround for Thursday night football against the New Orleans Saints. And then guys, our next matchup, where we see the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. We would see the Steelers in this one end up winning 32-13, blowing out the Raiders, who just look in shambles right now. And Najee Harris for the Pittsburgh Steelers had himself a day, 106 yards rushing and a TD there to help lead his team to victory over the Raiders. Man, the Pittsburgh looks legit, especially on the defensive side, as they move to 4-2 on the season, and Justin Fields is starting to cement himself as the actual starter for the rest of the year for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as they have a really good game here, especially on the offensive side. And what can you say about the Las Vegas Raiders? Raiders right now. They're just not looking like a cohesive team as they lose and move to 2-4 on the season. And then, guys, we had one of the biggest surprises in all of NFL football Sunday here in Week 6 as the Detroit Lions blow out the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World 47-9 in this next matchup here. Man, we've seen 20 points scored from this Detroit Lions team in the second quarter, and we see 20 more points added on in the second half as they just pulled away in this one. Jared Goff, 315 yards passing and 3 touchdowns through the air, and David Montgomery did his thing with 80 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns on the ground as Detroit gets the dominating victory in this one, looking good in all facets of the game, not only on special teams and offense, but also on defense, as this Dallas Cowboys offense wasn't able to get anything going really. Even though CeeDee Lamb got 7 catches for 89 yards, that would be about it on the stat line, as they really just could not score any touchdowns whatsoever in this football game. Moving on to our next matchup, guys, our last one of the Sunday slate, where we see the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Carolina Panthers, and the Falcons are able to get the victory in this one 38-20 after Kirk Cousins throws for 225 yards and a touchdown, and Algier had his breakout game, the running back there for the Falcons, 105 yards rushing and a touchdown on the ground to help lead the Falcons to victory over the Panthers. And Panthers, man, wide receiver Johnson had 78 yards on 6 catches and a touchdown, but that would not be enough as the Carolina Panthers are only able to put up 20 points, and they give up 38 as they lose to the Atlanta Falcons and move to 1-5 on the season. And the Falcons now move to 4-2 on the season, but are 2-0 in the division. And then, guys, going to our last game, which was the Thursday night football game, where we see the San Francisco 49ers traveling to take on the Seattle Seahawks. And man, what a back and forth matchup we had in this one, but the San Francisco 49ers were really able to pull away in this one, and they are able to get the victory 36-24 over the Seattle Seahawks, who now dropped 3 straight in a row after winning their first 3 games. Tough break for Geno Smith, who threw 52 times in this one for 312 yards and a touchdown, but had some costly turnovers that really cost the Seahawks. As we see the 49ers get back on track, Deebo Samuel had himself a day with only 3 catches, but 102 yards and a touchdown to really help this team get the victory here as they move to 3-3 on the season now in a much-needed, must-win for the San Francisco 49ers. And guys, this has been your NFL Week 6 review from Tim Reynolds Show. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you guys think in the comments about the show and what your team did this week. Maybe your team was on a bye. Maybe you guys got to watch and see some of the highlights and stuff like that. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys, and who your favorite team is. And make sure you like and subscribe and check out all my NFL reviews and previews that I do for every single week on here. And be sure to check out Tim Reynolds Show for my Tampa Bay Buccaneer live play-by-plays, as I'll be doing every single game live on my channel. And be sure to check out my channel also for NASCAR race reviews and WWE show reviews and this sports entertainment channel right here on Tim Reynolds Show. Thank you guys so much. Peace out, everybody. Hope you guys have a great day.